The year 1939 marked the beginning of a global conflict that would forever change the course of human history: World War II. For 6 long years, nations clashed in a brutal struggle for power and survival. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of the Pacific, millions fought and died in a war that touched every corner of the globe. The consequences of this devastating conflict continue to shape our world today. The sheer scale of World War II is difficult to comprehend. Over 60 countries were drawn into the conflict, spanning multiple continents. New technologies of warfare emerged, leading to unprecedented levels of destruction and loss of life. The world would never be the same. The roots of World War II can be traced back to the aftermath of World War I, a conflict that left Europe in ruins and its people in despair. The Treaty of Versailles, designed to ensure peace, instead sowed the seeds of resentment and instability. The harsh terms imposed on Germany created a deep sense of injustice and humiliation. Germany, burdened by crippling reparations and territorial losses, became fertile ground for extremist ideologies. Economic hardship and political instability plagued the nation, leading to widespread discontent. The rise of totalitarian regimes in Germany, Italy, and Japan further destabilized the international order. These regimes, driven by aggressive nationalism and expansionist ambitions, sought to reshape the world. Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party, fueled by nationalist fervor and a thirst for revenge, rose to power in Germany. Hitler's charismatic leadership and propaganda captivated a nation desperate for change. Benito Mussolini's fascist regime in Italy and Imperial Japan's militaristic government similarly pursued expansionist agendas. Both nations sought to assert their dominance through military might. The League of Nations, created after World War I to prevent future conflicts, proved powerless to stop the slide towards war. Its lack of enforcement mechanisms and the absence of key powers undermined its effectiveness. Its inability to enforce collective security emboldened aggressor nations. Japan's invasion of China and Germany's remilitarization of the Rhineland went unchecked. As tensions mounted, the world watched with growing apprehension. Diplomatic efforts to maintain peace faltered, and the specter of another devastating conflict loomed large. On September 1, 1939, the world watched in horror as Nazi Germany invaded Poland, a nation unprepared for the ferocity of the assault. This unprovoked act of aggression shattered the fragile peace that had barely held since the end of World War I. The invasion triggered a cascade of events that plunged the world into a conflict of unprecedented scale. Great Britain and France, honoring their commitments to Poland, declared war on Germany just 2 days later, on September 3, 1939. The German Blitzkrieg, a lightning-fast military tactic combining air power and mechanized ground forces, swept through Poland with devastating efficiency. This same tactic was later unleashed on France, catching the Allies off guard. By June 1940, France had fallen to the Nazis, sending shockwaves across the globe and leaving Great Britain to stand alone against the Axis powers. Great Britain, under the leadership of Winston Churchill, braced for a German invasion. The British people prepared their defences, knowing that their island nation was the last bastion of resistance in Western Europe. The Battle of Britain, a months-long air campaign waged over the skies of England, became a pivotal moment in the early years of the war. The fate of the free world hung in the balance as the Royal Air Force took to the skies. The Royal Air Force, though outnumbered and facing a formidable enemy, fought valiantly against the Luftwaffe. Their courage and tenacity ultimately thwarted Hitler's plans for invasion, marking a significant turning point in the war. In June 1941, Hitler broke his non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union, launching a massive invasion known as Operation Barbarossa. This marked the beginning of a brutal and protracted conflict on the Eastern Front. The German army, initially successful in their advance, soon found themselves drawn into a brutal and unforgiving conflict. The harsh Russian winter and fierce Soviet resistance took a heavy toll on the invaders. The Soviet people, facing unimaginable hardship and suffering, mounted a fierce resistance. Their determination and resilience would ultimately prove crucial to the Allied victory, turning the tide against the Axis powers. On December 7, 1941, the war reached American shores when Japanese aircraft launched a surprise attack, on the US Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. This devastating assault marked a turning point in the global conflict. The surprise attack, which killed over 2,400 Americans and caused significant damage to the fleet, galvanized public opinion. The United States, previously hesitant to join the conflict, was now propelled into the war with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The year 1942 marked a turning point in the war. The Battle of Midway, a decisive naval battle in the Pacific, dealt a crushing blow to the Japanese fleet and turned the tide in the Pacific theater. In the east, the Battle of Stalingrad became a symbol of Soviet resilience. After months of brutal fighting, the Red Army encircled and defeated the German Sixth Army, marking a turning point on the Eastern Front. As the Allies gained momentum, plans were drawn up for a massive invasion of Nazi-occupied France. On June 6, 1944, D-Day, Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy, France, in the largest amphibious invasion in history. The liberation of France had begun. Section 5. The Pacific Theater Island Hopping to Hiroshima. The war in the Pacific was characterized by brutal island hopping campaigns where each island captured brought the Allies closer to Japan. American forces, under the command of General Douglas MacArthur, fought to liberate Japanese-held islands, inching closer to the Japanese mainland. These operations were crucial in gaining strategic positions. The battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa were particularly costly, demonstrating the fanatical resistance of Japanese forces. These battles resulted in heavy casualties on both sides. As the war entered its final stages, President Harry Truman faced a difficult decision: how to end the war and save American lives. The stakes were incredibly high and the choices were few. On August 6, 1945, the United States dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan, causing unprecedented destruction and loss of life. This was followed 3 days later by a second atomic bomb on Nagasaki, further compounding the devastation. The devastation caused by these bombs led to Japan's unconditional surrender on August 15, 1945, bringing an end to the conflict. Marking the end of World War II, the world celebrated the hard-won peace, but the scars of war would remain for generations. Section 6. Victory and Devastation, the war's end. The Allied victory in World War II came at a staggering cost. Millions lay dead, victims of combat, disease, and genocide. Cities lay in ruins, economies were shattered, and the world was forever changed. The war in Europe officially ended on May 8, 1945, known as VE Day. In Asia, VJ Day, marking Japan's surrender, was celebrated on August 15, 1945. The world rejoiced at the end of the conflict, but the scars of war ran deep. Section 7. The Human Toll, a world scarred. The human cost of World War II is almost unimaginable. An estimated 40 to 85 million people died as a direct or indirect result of the conflict. The Soviet Union alone suffered an estimated 20 million casualties, both military and civilian. The Holocaust, Nazi Germany's systematic extermination of 6 million Jews, stands as a chilling reminder of the horrors of war and the depths of human cruelty. The world grappled with the enormity of the atrocities committed during the conflict. Section 8. A New World Order. The United Nations and the Cold War. The aftermath of World War II saw the emergence of a new world order. The United Nations, founded in 1945, represented a collective effort to prevent future conflicts and promote international cooperation. However, the wartime alliance between the United States and the Soviet Union quickly dissolved, giving way to the Cold War. The ideological divide between the capitalist West and the communist East would shape global politics for decades to come. Section 9. Echoes of War, Decolonization and Beyond. World War II also had a profound impact on the course of decolonization. European powers, weakened by the war, faced growing demands for independence from their colonies in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean. The war had shifted the global balance of power, paving the way for the emergence of newly independent nations. The economic consequences of the war were also significant. The United States emerged from the conflict as a global superpower, while Europe and Japan faced the daunting task of rebuilding their shattered economy. The Marshall Plan, a massive aid program funded by the United States, played a crucial role in the post-war recovery of Western Europe. In Section 10, A Legacy Remembered: The Enduring Impact of World War II. World War II was a watershed moment in human history, leaving an indelible mark on the world. It reshaped international relations, redefined national boundaries, and transformed societal norms. The war's legacy continues to shape our world today, serving as a stark reminder of the human capacity for both good and evil. The lessons learned from World War II, particularly the importance of international cooperation, diplomacy, and the defense of freedom, remain as relevant as ever. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, it is essential to remember the sacrifices made by those who fought for a better world and to strive for peace and understanding in our own time.